to Soul Wisdoms. My name is Monica. I'm your hostess, and I have the pleasure to be here today with Lana Jackson. Lana is an instinct mastery coach. She's also a life strategist, a spiritual teacher, and a psychic medium. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for
Lana.
having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us a little bit about what you do to help people finding their wisdom.
Wow. I could probably call myself a Jill of all trades and a master of everything.
Nice.
And I say it that way because I've spent my whole life working with spirit and people in many different ways. So I've walked with my feet in both camps, always been a medium from birth.
Oh, wow.
Working with my psychic abilities really came on more so when I was about 16, and I switched them off. And then I turned them back on again when I had my son, because the mother instinct kicked back in, or kicked in. And then after that, it just crept up from there. I've been an astrologer since I was 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
So studying astrology, and then I actually did a course to understand my son. Motherhood wasn't something that I just fell into. So I did astrology to actually understand him, which gave me insight into so much more than my son. So it helped me be a better parent and a better person, but then I could see how it could help other people if they understood themselves fully. So when I talk astrology, I'm talking about the actual astrology chart, not just your sun sign.
Yes.
So that led from there, and I found that when I was doing my astrology chart interpretations, all of this information was just coming in. And so I took a long time to call myself a psychic, because I thought, how can I be psychic? and then the people who were tapping on my shoulder, I thought everyone else saw them too. Obviously they didn't. So I got tested for schizophrenia.
Oh, wow. That's massive. And how many people out there, especially kids, are going through the same type of problem?
And children are so much more open as well. So I'm definitely not schizophrenic. I've got certified proof. So that sort of made me think, okay, well then if there's nothing actually wrong with me, then what am I doing? And then I would feel other people's energy and I'd get really depressed. And this would go for a long time and I couldn't figure it out. And my doctor actually diagnosed me as a clinical depressant, put me on antidepressants.
What a way to shut down your psychic gifts.
I felt like I was walking around with my feet
like a zombie.
Like sponges. And so I took myself off it. Well, apparently you're not supposed to do that. So I took myself off completely. And I thought, no, if there's whatever it is that's wrong with me, I'm going to work with this myself. And I always had my spirit guide always coming in, and then I had more spirit guides coming in, and all of a sudden I've got all this party going on in my bedroom of a night time. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? And anyway, I came across a beautiful woman called Amanda Rossetti, and she was on the one. So Amanda ran a psychic and mediumship development course. And I still, at that time, was in denial that I was a psychic or a medium. I was an astrologer. But Amanda actually said to me, you lunatic, you're a medium. And I said, no, I can't be a medium because I don't physically see them. So I always thought that to see spirit, you had to see them with your eyes. And so because I couldn't see them with my eyes, I didn't believe I was a medium. So in working with her and developing those abilities, because I don't call them gifts. If it was a gift, you'd give it back. Yeah. It's a really challenging ability to have because you so have to understand yourself, what your ability is, because everyone's different with their abilities as well. No two psychics are the same. No two mediums are the same. No two healers are the same. So trying to understand yourself first, and then connecting with your abilities and then working with them and strengthening them by practice and focus and all of that sort of stuff was a real challenge for me.
I bet.
And then I was lucky to have the opportunity to be on radio. And I had to all of a sudden go from what I thought you had to do was face-to-face readings to being on radio reading.
And not being able to actually see the person.
Not being able to connect.
Yes.
But then while I was on radio, I actually had a stronger connection.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm not influenced by the energy of the client.
Wow.
So Then I found, that, and then I fell pregnant with my daughter. So I've got 3 children. I've got a son who's 22 soon, and a little girl who's 6 soon, and a little boy who's 3.
Oh, big
So,
guy.
yeah, I'm an idiot. But anyway.
Not at all. It's God saying.
Anyway. but what I noticed is with each child, my abilities changed. And I found, and I don't know if this works the same way for anybody else, but my abilities when I was pregnant with my boys, I have 2 boys and a girl, my abilities with my boys were very different to my abilities with my daughter. And when I had my daughter, I was not psychic or medium, doing any sort of medium work or anything for 12 weeks. So I cut off 6 weeks before I had her and 6 weeks after. And I think that's because they knew I'd need all my attention for her. She was a challenge. So the thing is that I feel like the journey with spirit can bear many titles. Your abilities can wear many titles. But for me, it's just about being of service to spirit in whatever way. So if that means reading, and as I was saying to you earlier, that I'm not reading anymore, but I guess I am,
Yes.
and I'm doing that more through my coaching now,
Yes.
as opposed to having an astrology or a psychic or a mediumship reading. So if I looked at my career, it's a dog's hind leg, because I also have a Bachelor of Education, and I'm a workplace trainer, I'm an occupational health and safety officer,
Wow.
I'm a human resource manager and a small business consultant as well. So what I'm now doing with my Instinct Mastery,
It's meeting
Bringing the
both
whole
of
thing
them,
in.
which is great.
helping people to discover themselves. And you can walk with your feet in both camps. You don't have to walk around with cheesecloth on your head and a crystal ball to be psychic.
That's it. Yes, it is.
So at the end of the day, I can tune into spirit anytime I want to. And for me, it's not something that I need to cue, if that makes sense. If there's a message I need to pass, I always ask for permission. I don't just walk up and say, "Hey, Monica, I've got your grandmother here."
Yes.
I really think that that's unethical. You need
I
to,
do too, and I don't like people doing it to me,
No,
so I try not
yeah.
to do it to anyone. I haven't asked for advice, so why are you advising me?
Well, the thing is that it's one thing to have the message, but if that person's not ready to hear it, the message is useless anyway. So I find when I have spirit around me, and they do pop in from time to time, we've got an agreement. I had to develop agreements with spirit too, because it can be really overwhelming. I would go shopping. Christmas time was havoc for me. I'd come home and I'd be really aggressive, or I'd have to go to sleep. And I didn't realise that it was actually my empath abilities kicking in when I'm going shopping. I'm picking up all of this stress, or I'm picking up on all of the energy going on all the time. And I just found that I couldn't go shopping. So my husband had to go out and do all the Christmas shopping. I thought that was great.
A good way to get out of Christmas shopping.
But it got to that point, and then Amanda helped me with that as well. So Amanda's been one of the pivotal mentors for me in many ways, and we're now very good friends. But she helped me sort of balance. You have to know your own energy.
Yes.
You have to be able to learn when it's okay, and spirit will help you with that. Yeah. I found that at first, but I also felt that it was my guide saying, "Well, ask us for help then. Go on, dare ya." So I did, and then they did.
How did you manage all those emotions that you were feeling? How is there any advice that you can give people on how to maybe not pick up on other people's feelings or depression or emotions, and being able to clear them out of your system?
Well, for me personally, it was a struggle to learn how to do that. But I feel that we go through what we go through so that we can help other people with it. So for me, if I was to give anyone advice, is accept the feeling for a start. Because as soon as you start fighting that feeling, you're denying something that's there, whether it's yours or somebody else's, it doesn't matter. You've picked it up for a reason. Whether you keep it or not is a choice. So if you acknowledge the feeling and say, okay, well, I actually feel like crap. Actually, my girlfriend was here. She's going through a lot of stuff. Damn, I've picked up on her stuff. And that's okay. So it's okay to acknowledge that you have. I see so many people saying, oh, but you shouldn't have their energy. You need to get rid of it. Yeah, okay, you shouldn't keep it. But you've picked it up for a reason, and that could be your senses telling you that you're ready as well. So I don't deny the feeling. I don't push the feeling away. I work on what is the feeling. Why have I got it? What do I need to learn from it? Can I help this person from picking it up? And okay, it's not mine, so I'll release it. If I'm with somebody who is going through a really tough time, my personal way of dealing with it is putting white walls between us, because I don't want to block that person out, and a white wall won't actually block them out. White light is actually pure.
Yes.
So I'm using that as a buffer to catch their energy so it's not coming into me. And when I was doing multiple readings at Mind, Body, Spirit and different expos and on Psychic TV and all of those places where I've had to do multiple readings and you've got to switch on, switch off. It's like traffic lights,
yes.
You'd see the light on the phone and go, oh, here we go. But what I would do is wrap myself in white. So, because you can't block everybody. You can't put up light between you and everyone. So I always, if I was having a really busy day where I was going to be doing a lot of readings, I would always wrap myself in white. I'd always balance out my chakras. That's my little ritual. And then I would wrap myself in silver, because silver is protective, but it's moving. It's like mercury. It's flexible and it moves.
Because I have noticed that some colors are too strong for that.
Yes.
And then you get no clients. For example, I have wrapped myself on very dark blue, and then it's like, okay, no one is coming for readings. I gotta change the wrapping.
Gold is good for protection, but not when you're reading, I've found for me, because gold contains. I always have a veil that connects to the earth, and the earth will take what I don't need anyway. So I'm very much, I connect with the earth energies a lot as well. And I've explored Wicca through my time too. So, and I love the Wiccan principles, the white witchery of take only what you need and harm ye none. And that's very much how I work in my business too. I don't seek clients, if that makes sense. I put it out there, and I believe people come to me as and when they're meant to. So I don't say, hey, Monica, want a reading? Because I'm down a few bucks this week. I just can't do it. Because to me, I'm serving spirit, and spirit will always make sure that I'm okay. I mean, there's a roof over my head. My needs are met.
Yes.
It's all about my wants, really.
Yeah.
That's ego. So, but
it's good to have some wants.
You know what? I believe in ego too. Like everyone says, oh, ego's terrible. No way.
No way. Why do we have it then? If it's terrible, why? It's such a big part of us.
Well, the thing is, what I've come to learn in my working with spirit is ego is the closest link to our souls. The soul knows what lessons we need to learn in this life. And so, therefore, but the soul can't overrule our free will. So ego is the closest thing to our free will as well. It's what will push us to make a decision. So if your ego is really healthy, well, not that it's ever unhealthy, I don't believe it is, but if your ego is working in a positive sense, it's going to be the drive that says, you know what, yes, I'm going to start that business. Yes, I'm going to go and do that course. Yes, I want to meet that person. Yes, I'm going to better myself. Yes, I'm going to do all that. And that increases your self-worth.
Yes.
But if your ego is operating in the negative, there's a reason for that too. Because if you have a low self-worth, no, I can't do that course. Don't have enough money. What about the kids? What if I can't do it? What if I fail?
Yeah.
Then that's ego pushing you to either stay there or challenge it. So for me, ego is the closest connection to our soul. It's the only way the soul can actually truly express the lessons we need to learn. And if self-worth is something that you need to learn in life, because we all have our lesson paths, if self-worth is something that you need to learn, then ego's got to play a part in that. So when I hear people say, oh, you shouldn't have a high ego, you're operating out of your ego, the first thing I say to them is, you know what I am. But I'd really like to know what your version of ego is, because clearly we might have a different definition. So for me, ego is not a bad thing. I think you should have ego. And if you don't, then why are you here? What are you doing? What's driving you? What's giving you that push to say, I actually do want to be a healer? And you know what? I don't know why people would say it, sometimes. But you know what? Why not?
Yes.
So, you know, for me, it's boundless. And ego has to be balanced, though. You know, you can't have an ego where you're arrogant and,
Yes.
and ignorant and all of that sort of stuff. That is when ego is egotistic.
Yep.
And that's different. Egocentric is understanding yourself and understanding yourself.
Mm.
So, you know, if you're looking at the external and internal exchange, ego's always involved.
Mm. But then if you don't have that ego playing a part, then you can't really move forward.
Totally. Totally. Because even when your ego is operating in the lower end, it's still pushing you forward because it's making you look in your own self mirror to determine, do I really want to be this way? I don't actually value myself. But deep down I know I'm worth something. So why don't I value myself? And oh, look, no one around me does either because they're showing me a mirror. I'm a big believer in mirrors.
Yes, me too.
Everybody mirrors.
Yes.
And so, you know, for me, I really had to go through a lot of transformation, and I'm still going through one right now, you know, deciding not to read after 20 years, or not to read the way that I am, but going into a different phase of working with spirit. And my ego's been tested on that big time because it's like, but hang on, I've got 20 years experience. I should be doing this. Why did I do all of this? And you sort of look at it and go, well, yes, so you can go to the next level, you douche. You know?
Could you tell me a little bit about your change in career and the program that you are now running for people?
Well, I've developed a program called Instinct Mastery. So essentially, it's all about psychic ability, but we all have instincts. And I found that a lot of the population that I've connected with over time confuse psychic with instinct.
Oh,
so everybody understands that they have instincts.
Yeah.
You know, we all know that. And anyone working outside of the field that we've chosen doesn't have a true understanding of what psychic ability is. And I remember saying to people, well, everyone's psychic. I'm no better than you. The only difference between you and I is it's like a muscle. The more it's used, the stronger it gets. And they'd say, oh, but I'm not psychic. And I'd say, yeah, you are. You have instincts. And they go, yeah. And I said, well, you're a mum, aren't you? Well, yeah. Well, if there's something wrong with your child, don't you connect with that? Well, yeah. Well, it's a mother's instinct.
Yes.
So you understand when there's something happening with your child and when your child needs help or when your child's happy or when your child's sad or whatever, but you're connecting to your child and you have this thing called an invisible umbilical cord that is still connected to your child. So when there's something going on with your child, a message will be sent between the two of you and you'll pick up on that and you'll respond. Now, of course, there are some people who don't. And that's okay. We don't pass judgment on them. But the point is that the vast majority of the population do understand that and do know when there's something going on with their kids. And so I built from there, essentially, because fathers have instincts too. You know, dads have those connections
of
with
protection more than nurturing. Yeah.
So with a mum, it's I'm protective. Maybe that's just me, but I'm a shocker. But the thing is, with astrology, I made the connection of the instinct side of it, and essentially, our instincts are our subconscious coming forward, connecting with our conscious, giving it a message saying, you need to check your child, or you need to ring your mum, or you need to ring your girlfriend. And have you ever made a phone call to somebody and they've said, I was just thinking of you? Or they ring you and you were thinking of them? That's connection.
Yes.
And an intuitive and instinctive connection. So with my Instinct Mastery program, it's an 8-week program, but it's based on my learning from all my teaching from my Bachelor of Ed in understanding educational psychology and personal development, but also my astrology, because astrology helps you to understand your personality in so many different ways. And your personality operates in your subconscious. The things that come forward when you say, oh yeah, you know, like I'm pretty out there and I'm somebody who likes to connect with people and all of that sort of stuff, that's coming from underneath. It's what you're bringing out and showing people is your conscious stuff. And if you think, I don't know if you've seen the iceberg theory.
Yes.
The tip of the iceberg is the conscious and everything under that is the subconscious. Well, there's a lot of theories out there that say that, the body has a cell memory
Yes.
of many lifetimes.
Oh, definitely.
So that's where your instincts are living, So
Yep.
when you're in
DNA.
that's exactly right. And so when you're in a situation, for example, you're with people who are not energetically aligned to you, your body will tell you straight away, we need to get out of here. This energy is not good.
How many of us know how to listen to that? How many
Not
of
many.
us overrule that feeling and just completely
totally.
go in the wrong path, even though we have been advised, even though our body it's telling us. I was reading actually last night that when danger is about to happen, and this is scientifically proved,
totally.
your palms start sweating
Yep.
before you
Even
encounter
aware.
you encounter the danger. So we just don't know how to read those signs.
That's right. I had a very big lesson back in 2007 where I got conned for $50,000.
Whoa!
And the worst part is, and I'm grateful for the experience, because it's made me a better businesswoman. It's made me better in so many ways. I didn't feel that way at the time. But before I signed that contract, my gut, my head, my heart, my whole body was saying, don't do it. I make people acknowledge who they are in the course, but then at the end, I want them to see how they became who they are and how it's useful.
And in that way, you not only appreciate all the experiences that you have had on the past, but you also feed your self-esteem and
totally
gain your power and you become proud of who you are.
Totally.
Because no one else have walked that path but you.
Yeah. And I remember my son saying to me just a few weeks ago, Mum, you're 46 this year. He goes, are you worried about getting old? And I said, no way. I own every one of those years. I can't wait till I'm 80. And he said, really? You can't wait till you're 80? And I said, yeah, because by then I might have a bit of credibility. But people might actually believe me. And he started laughing and I said, no, I am, the older I'm becoming, the more empowered I'm becoming, because the more I acknowledge who I am. Because my self-concept growing up, and self-concept is so huge, and I learned a lot about that at uni when I was doing my teaching degree, and I actually got involved in a research group on self-concept, and it was really interesting, and it's contributed a lot to what I know now, is that children, 0 to 5, are very egocentric. So the world revolves around them, and everything feeds what they need. And I think, God, they're onto something at that age, But we interviewed children in kindergarten and we asked them a series of questions. And then we went back 12 months later when they were in year 1, where they've had a year of kindergarten and a year of self-development, because they're not with mum and dad anymore. They're not with their siblings, or the siblings are there, but they're in different classes and all sorts of stuff. And there were a lot of variables that came in. And then when we went back to them in year 1, their self-concept had changed. They'd started to become very aware socially. They'd started to become aware of what they looked like. They started to become aware of who liked them and who didn't. And then we went to them at year 2. And when we went to year 2, they were so different. And we could compare the data of their self-concept and how it had changed and developed. So if you compare your self-concept now to your self-concept as a child, you will see the data. And that's what I'm making you do.
If you could share the best soul wisdom with our audience, what would you tell?
Have the courage to be you. I feel that, our soul is already, in my opinion, written and ready to go. It knows what we need to learn. It knows what we need to experience. It knows what we need to teach. So just have the courage to be yourself. Be who you are. Being authentic is allowing yourself to grow. And if you don't allow yourself to grow and understand yourself, then contributing to others will be challenging. Because if you're not being your true self, you will learn and you will contribute and you will help, and the intention is always positive and all of that sort of stuff. But imagine how much more you would contribute to others if you just had the courage to be yourself. So that's probably my greatest soul wisdom for me. And I'm never about telling everybody how they should or shouldn't do things, because I'm a massive believer in choice and free will. But if I was to say anything, it would be have the courage to be yourself and have the courage to use your free will to do that.
Do you think that God has an end? Do you see God as a finite being, or do you think God is just infinite?
For me personally, I was raised a Catholic, and then I explored Wicca. Which I think, you know what, I think a lot of Catholic women do.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So for me, I'm not sure that there is a God. I'm not an atheist, so I'm not anti anything. I feel, for me, being spiritual is accepting all faith, because essentially religion and religious belief is a collection of faith, and people need something to believe in. So for me, I connect with the universal faith and allow everyone to have the right to believe in what they want. So I don't know that I can say I believe in God, and I feel that I've evolved so much, because if you asked me this in my 20s, I'd say I've broken every one of the 10 commandments except for killing someone, which I thought about. I find challenging is when other people push their opinions on me and say, but you don't believe in God, or you don't believe in this, so therefore you are. And I've actually even learnt to just go, that's your opinion. I don't have to conform to it just because that's what you think I should be doing. So it's kind of, for me, it's an overall, holistic, universal view. And I focus, because my career has been directed into focusing on the individual and helping them to understand themselves better, I have to embrace whatever their belief is. Because it's not about that for me. It's about helping them work with that faith,
yes,
whatever it is.
Yes.
So yeah, to ask me a question on God, but like I said, I respect other people's right to believe in that.
That's awesome. I would like to thank you so much
You're
for being
welcome.
here with us, and I hope all of you enjoyed this interview as much as I did.
Thank you.
Lana, awesome.
Thank you for having me, and for the privilege of giving me the opportunity to express who I am and what I do, because that, if nothing else, when somebody gives you that opportunity, it's like they've looked into your soul. So thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching. And I hope to see you again very, very soon.